Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the DAT-MAIL Basics webinar, one of a series of educational webinars from WindowBook. My name is Monica Lundquist, and I am Postal Affairs Manager and Technical Support Manager here at WindowBook. I will be presenting the introduction to the webinar, followed by a live demo of DAT-MAIL software by Steve Dowdy, our industry mailing software specialist. The agenda for today's webinar is to provide information about our DAT-MAIL software. To do this, we will first explain the difference between PreSort software and post-presort software. Next, we will describe some of the functions that DAT-MAIL allows you to do. We will then turn it over to Steve to give you a high-level demonstration of the basic functionality of DAT-MAIL. We'll then wrap up with a Q&A session where you will have the opportunity to ask questions about the information presented in today's webinar. So first, let's talk a little bit about PreSort software and post-presort software. PreSort software is the software that's used to prepare the initial plan for a mailing. It includes such elements as address hygiene and move update functions, duplicate elimination, as well as the more commonly known function of sorting the address records into the sequence specified by the Postal Service in order to take advantage of various postage discounts. One of the key outputs of this process is the mail.dat file set. This is a group of individual subfiles which collectively comprise the relational database file that contains all the details about the mailing except for the names and addresses of the mail recipients. Although we understand and recognize that PreSort software is very powerful and a very necessary part of the overall mailing process, we also know that the initial PreSort plan can, and usually does, change, sometimes right up until the mail is being physically prepared. Through editing the mail.dat files, post-PreSort software, like WindowBook's DAT-MAIL solution, can make changes to the initial plan or mailing without having to go back and rerun the actual postal PreSort step. Several common examples include changing the piece weights, accounting for spoilage, and creating partial mailings. Mailings are oftentimes run through the PreSort software steps days or even weeks in advance of the actual physical preparation. At the time of pre-sorting, mailers are forced to provide estimated piece weights, but when the pieces are physically prepared, these weights must be changed to be reported accurately on the postal reports. Now, during the physical preparation of the mail, pieces may get damaged or spoiled and get pulled from the mailing. Sometimes they get reprinted and manually inserted back into their proper handling units, but most of the time they simply get pulled and either mailed separately or just not mailed at all. Once again, post-PreSort software can be used to edit the mail.dat file so these pieces are not reported as part of the mailing and postage not wasted on them. The last example we'll look at is a partial mailing. Let's say the file run through the PreSort steps was 1 million records, and your mail shop can only prepare and palletize 200,000 of these pieces on Monday. Using post-PreSort software like DAT-MAIL, you can identify and report on just the containers that you plan to present to the Postal Service for processing Monday night. These three examples are just a few of the ways that DAT-MAIL post-PreSort software can let a user accommodate changes to the initial PreSort plan and produce postal documentation that matches the actual mailing being presented for processing and delivery. On the previous slide, we talked a little bit about several of the functions that DAT-MAIL offers. Now we'll cover some more of them before having Steve show you how these all work. DAT-MAIL validates the accuracy of your mail.dat files as it imports them for further use and reporting. DAT-MAIL also provides for editing and generating updated mail.dat and mail XML data. And as we talked about before, DAT-MAIL allows you to create and submit your postal documentation to reflect what you're actually mailing. Also discussed earlier is that DAT-MAIL allows for removing spoilage and or shortage so that you are only paying postage for what actually mails. The software allows you to generate and manage intelligent mail barcodes for trays, sacks, and pallets. DAT-MAIL has a very sophisticated but also user-friendly Planalyzer module. This allows